When you have a bad day or a bad week in your business, how do you typically react? Are you somebody that chunners and festers? Do you bitch and moan and look for somebody to blame? Or do you look for the lessons and just try to move on as quickly as possible? Let's be honest, it is so easy to go into that kind of blame game. It's the easiest thing in the world to want to be annoyed and to kind of lash out and to get frustrated at somebody else when things are not quite going your way. But let me tell you that working out how to shift yourself from a place of blame to a place of taking responsibility is one of the biggest single shifts that you can ever make to really grow your business. Because when you actually take responsibility, then you give yourself the opportunity to continue to move your business forwards. You are learning, you're growing, you're developing, and you're progressing. Whereas when you fall into the blame trap, then you will just get stuck. You can't actually move forward when you're in that place. Don't get me wrong, it's easy. Sometimes it's quite pleasant. Sometimes there's nothing better than a good bitching and moaning. But the key thing is to recognise that that's what's happening and understand how you shift yourself into a mindset of responsibility and moving forwards. So let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say you lose a client or you're given notice by a client. So often the first instinct is frustration with the client because they didn't do certain things, they didn't take the action that they were supposed to, they wouldn't take enough responsibility. There's a million reasons why they weren't that great a client, and why the reason they're not getting great results is down to them. So it's very easy to want to kind of lash out and blame and be frustrated. But it's not moving you forward. That doesn't tell you anything else about how to attract a better client next time round. So you're just as likely to attract another duffer. Whereas if you shift yourself into a position of saying, okay, what can I learn from this? What did I do at various points through that process, which actually, if I had done something different, the client may have got better results. I might have got better results. We might have extended the relationship or improved the relationship. So more often than not, there are points in the process where perhaps you weren't quite assertive enough. Perhaps your communication wasn't quite as quick as it could be. Perhaps you let the client push you around a little bit and you shouldn't have done that. Maybe the client wasn't very good at taking action, but you let them off with it rather than actually pushing back and being assertive. So there will be lots of things that you can learn, small snippety things, but if you take all those lessons, then what it means is next time round you are far more likely to attract a much better suited client who will value what you do and who will get better results. Happy days. Let's also imagine you've hired a new member of staff, turns out to be an absolute duffer, and you thought your interview technique was fabulous. Again, it is so easy there to question their attitude, question their skills, question why they bothered applying in the first place, just get really annoyed at them. And it's not moving you forward. It doesn't tell you how to attract a better member of staff next time. It doesn't tell you how to do anything better in your business. Whereas when you come at that from a position of what could I have done differently, go back through that whole process and think about what did I do in terms of advertising for them, sourcing that person, interviewing that person, assessing their skills and competence and really trying to get under the skin of that. What did we do in terms of their initial training and their induction and providing them with processes and guides and different things like that? Were you constructive enough in terms of one-to-ones and feedback? So there'll be a million things that you can learn that will help you to do better next time if you take the time to learn and if you shift yourself away from blame and into responsibility. Now, the final thing I would say, though, is there is a real caveat on this, because blaming yourself is also not the right thing to do. So you have to be very careful that you don't switch all the way across from blame to responsibility to actually just blaming yourself. So there is no point in saying our interviewing was rubbish, We just don't know what we're doing with new people. We're so terrible at this, because you're still not learning. Responsibility is always about learning the lessons, asking what you can do differently, and looking forward for next time. So that is my big tip for you today, is watch out for the blame sneaking in, as it does, because it's natural, and really look for those opportunities to switch that into taking responsibility. Now, if this is the kind of thing you would like to work on regularly and consistently in your business, then have a look at my Business Growth Mastermind, because this is an example of the type of things that we talk about in there quite regularly to really help you get the perfect mindset for growth.